All right, welcome, kings and queens. Today we are talking Love and Marriage DC episode 2. This episode was good in the most telling manner. It forecasted the future for me, it prepped me for what to expect for later on in the season. My first thought is Arena is jockeying. Now that Monique is gone as queen of the throne, I think Arena is jockeying and positioning herself to become queen of the throne. That's the feeling I get. Okay. If we go back to last week's episode, Arena said something that I did not add into my commentary. It slipped my mind. But Arena said something that made me kind of turn my head sideways and be like, very interesting. What she said is at Jason's party, when she did her confessional beside her husband, she said, I'm shocked that Monique isn't here because even though Monique and Chris are going through what they are going through, I would have thought that Monique would have showed up for Jason. And I'm very disappointed in Monique. And the reason why that stood out to me is because I'm like, well, first of all, Jason is a grown ass man. Number one, Monique has 3 small kids. So, girl, that's like apples to oranges. Number one, Monique's going through her own stuff. Can you show a little bit of grace? And in that moment, I realized her expectations are somewhat unrealistic. And you expect, or you appear to expect, people to drop things and honor you in ways that, you're not the queen. To them, people have their own lives. They have their own troubles, their own challenges. So Jason, although we celebrate him getting into doors, Monique has other things that she should and need to prioritize other than coming to a party. Okay. Y'all get what I'm saying? So I believe Arena's coming for the queen of the throne. I hope Ashley takes it. Neither Arena nor Ashley were any of my favorites last year. But just based on energy and all of that, I hope Ashley takes it when we talk about dynamics and drama, because I feel like Ashley brings a little bit more realness to the show opposed to Arena and Jamie. This is going to be a very interesting and telling season. For those of you who are just tuning in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television. But most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. All right, so the continuation of the fight between Jamie Jr. and Jamie Sr. plays out in the hallway on episode 2. A few things I noticed. When it came time for Jamie Jr. to speak, he was attempting to speak what he felt. One thing I noticed is no one really attempted to make a safe place for him to speak his heart without interrupting him. Arena, his mother, interrupted him. His father interrupted. His father, actually, you know what? Let's back up. His father interrupted him. And not only did his father interrupt him, he approached his son with a energy dynamic that wasn't even like concerning. It was more geared up towards don't start with me. It was more aggressive to the point I heard him say, get your hand out my face, right? Yeah, that was a bit concerning to me. Like, you won't even approach to see what's wrong with him, because literally what I felt was going on, you really don't care in this moment. You don't care what's going on with him. You could care less. And that's the vibe that I picked up from his father. However, Jamie Jr., when somebody's attempting to give you a logical reasoning, something that you should latch onto, sweetheart, you need to listen. Don't nobody care about you being mad. You need to listen, okay? You being mad is not going to solve any of your problems that you're currently faced with at 26 years old. So Quick was telling you the right stuff. Now I understand why you felt like you couldn't receive it from your father because of the dynamics between you and your father. However, Quick was on point. And one thing that most people will not allow a 26-year-old grown-ass man to do is sit and have a temper tantrum. I don't think you were having a temper tantrum when you were on that wall in a hallway crying. You just needed love and support from your father. But after you were able to get up and people rallied behind you, that's your opportunity to listen what those men are telling you. By way of Clifton, he didn't say much, and quick. You have the village behind you. Take the wisdom and the knowledge that Quick was trying to give you. Okay? Get out your damn feelings talking about, I'm mad. I get it, Quick. Don't nobody care. If your goal is to progress and get out of wherever you are, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, you got to start listening to somebody. Okay? That's all I got for you. At some point, you're going to have to decide as a 26-year-old, probably 27 now, 27-year-old man to move the hell on and get your life together, even if your father doesn't give you a true apology. Now, my opinion is I don't believe that his father nor his mother were comfortable with Jamie Jr. speaking on camera regarding his feelings and the dynamics between he and his father. I feel like Arena and Jamie want and need to control that narrative because they could be afraid of what he could potentially say to hurt their image. So we shift to the scene between Winter in the studio, and the producer has a wife named Sherelle. And it appears to me, just based on the conversation and the overview, from Winter regarding how she and Sherelle met, it seems like Sherelle could be a very hands-on wife when it comes to her husband's career. Okay, so that's how she met Winter with the sign my papers divorce compilation. Now, I like the initial approach that Sherelle took with Winter regarding how most women, in particular Arena, would respond when it comes to their husbands and their children. She's absolutely correct. If you tell me, Winter, that my husband is alleged to have an affair, first of all, don't nobody want to tell no woman that unless you absolutely are 100% sure that her response is going to be favorable and she's happy and welcoming of you bringing that information to her. And I'll just tell you, most married women want to know, but they really don't want to know. Okay. Or maybe she didn't want to know from you, Winter. So you got to be very careful that you don't become typecasted as being a bone collector and or messy. Stay away from that role. Stay away from just being that person. Make sure that as you evolve on this show, we get to see a little bit more of you outside of the drama. That's going to be very important to you in building your fan base. And also having the potential as a breakout star on this show, because people fell in love with you for the way you were able to redeem yourself on episode 1. So as you are thinking out your strategy in this reality matrix, don't get caught up in the drama. Give a little bit, but also know when to back away from it. Now, here's the thing. Most married women will not respond favorably to a single woman that they hardly know coming to them talking about, hey, the streets are talking about your husband. Secondly, most women, period, will not respond favorably to anyone having information from a negative perspective regarding their children. So I felt like Sherella brought a very, very unbiased, straight to the point perspective to Winter. I also, so far in this scene, I like her being added to the show, giving Winter a number 2, someone to lean on, because Winter was out there on that island by herself. And in my opinion, that caused Ashley, Arena, and even Monique to kind of go after her as a single woman last season. And women have that bad. Y'all love to attack women that are single if and when they don't go along with your program and the narrative. And that's what happened to you last episode. last season, winter. So you got to be very careful, very strategic of how you continue to show up. And you also need to be thinking about how to get the numbers on your side because they can easily push you out, right? So just be thinking about that future purposes as you begin to move forward on this show. I want to talk a little bit about Ashley. So Ashley has an appearance on a local news station to promote her book, right? Which was inspired based on her condition of having to battle and navigate depression. I would have loved to hear more about that, right? That's often a narrative that we don't get a front row seat to when it comes to Black women and us having to navigate through tough and dark times of our lives. Because you know what? Don't nobody care when it comes to us, to be honest with you. They want the drama, they want the fights, but when it comes to how we're really doing, not a lot of people really care. We are the most unprotected species on this planet. Okay. So I would have loved to hear more about her book, to get like some cliff notes and just her talk more about that. But the interviewee decides to throw a monkey wrench in that and ask Ashley about Monique and Chris. Ashley, what you should have done was steered that conversation right back to your book. When she asked you about Monique and Chris, I love how you say, I haven't talked. You know what? I really don't. It doesn't even matter if you haven't talked to her in a week. I don't have insight to that. However, one thing my book highlights is when women are having a tough moment, here's some things that I've done that has worked for me. And hopefully those of you tuned in can utilize some of the tips and the advice and coping skills that I'm giving in my book. Learn how to steer the conversation back to where it needs to be. And I felt like that was a missed opportunity on the behalf of production. If you caught that, Carlos King, if you actually caught more details on the book and you cut it from editing, I feel like it was a disservice to the viewers. Now, one thing I want to call out on Love and Marriage DC, I'm really enjoying it so far. I've noticed how Carlos has done a wonderful job of featuring what the women are doing on Love and Marriage DC, but not necessarily so on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I wonder if that's because if you actually hone in on the women and their business ventures on Love and Marriage Huntsville, then you would really have to focus on Melody's achievements. And maybe that's not a place that you're willing to go to really highlight and promote her. I don't know. Just a random thought in my head. All right. So they go back and you see a scene. We're skipping to Jamie and Arena post party, the morning, the day after the party. So Jamie, the father, wakes up talking about Jamie Jr. Sir, you are like a dog with a bone. This man refuses to let this go. And Jamie, you really got to check yourself because it's coming across as if you want to ruin your son's image on camera. Come hell or high water. You woke up talking about your son in a very negative manner. That is your child. And what you're giving us as viewers is that you are a strong author of strife. It appears as if your personal agenda is to turn the family against your son. And my question to you is, why is that? I'm so confused on your position as a father, the leader of the pack, the head and not the tail, the first, the last. You depict, sir, the healthiness, the spectrum. What spectrum? What place that your family falls on the spectrum when it comes to healthy family dynamics? And I'll tell you this, Jamie Sr., you are failing miserably. You didn't do a great job last season, and it's almost as if you've decided to pick up where you left off, and that's not good for you. You go to bed and you wake up poking your son indirectly, okay? It's almost, I'm going to tell you, it's not almost. Let me tell you what you're doing. You're creating a divide or attempting to create a divide between your son and his mother. When you said, I'm not going to let him do me like that. And it's your business if you decide to let him treat you like that. That's her son, just like that's your son. Your job is to be the glue, the nucleus that holds your family together. You know what I'm saying? So that when you leave this earth, your legacy is a positive one. You're missed desperately. It's not a sigh of relief because you were a thorn in everybody's side. You were a haphazard to their mental and emotional well-being. And that's what you are. And somebody needs to tell you that shit. And I'm going to tell you, I couldn't have a father like you in the home that rules with an iron fist. I would be afraid of you. And when people are afraid of you, they run from you or they either hurt you. Okay? What value does attacking your son verbally bring to your family, your lineage, and your bloodline? What do you stand to gain from this? That's just a question. And your wife, Arena, was attempting to explain to you what we did not see on camera. So Arena actually brought us a bit of something that production cut off. And apparently, Jamie Jr. told his mother on camera, "My dad does not like me." And she shared that with his father. She said, "Last night he said you don't like him." To which Jamie Sr. responded, "Now, do you believe that?" And she verbally said no, but she shook her head yes, y'all. Okay? She verbally said, "No, I don't believe that." But your head was going up and down like, "Yes, I do believe that." And also in her confessional, she stated, Jamie does love his son. That wasn't the question. If he loves his son, the question that your husband asked you is, do you believe I don't like him? And I think subconsciously, you gave us that answer by not answering the question. Truly. And your body language said something completely different. You did shake your head yes when he asked you if you thought he didn't like his son. Let's take a look.
Yeah, so when I went out there, when he was telling me my dad don't like me. And do you believe that? No.
So Raina at this point is really pleading to him and attempting to establish an emotional connection with him by sharing her feelings regarding how Jamie Sr. tends to interact with their son. And this Negro turns around and tells her, "See, this is where you frustrate me. How about you listen? Okay? Sir, you have a problem." Your wife just sat down, poured her heart out to you regarding your treatment toward your eldest son. And your response is, "This is where you frustrate me." Your son just told you the night before he doesn't think you like him. You don't treat him the way he would like to be treated by way of establishing a strong and a healthy father-son connection. I've never seen anything like this. To be honest with y'all, it's up to you, Jamie Sr., to monitor yourself in a way that you protect your family, even from yourself. And it's really giving that you were in competition with your son. I really like that Arena held her ground regarding her family and that she feels like they need to go seek help. That was a very positive moment for me and also for the viewers, I hope, to see her say, "Listen, we need to fix this." We don't get to see that often by way of healthy conversations within the Black family unit where the woman is saying, "No more of this. We're not going to behave this way. You need to go talk to somebody. This is deeper than what I think you believe it to be." So I really appreciated the way she showed up in this scene. Let's transition to Ashley and Alicia. Ashley shared that At age 16, her mother abandoned her for a man. Her mother left her home, literally left Ashley at home so that her mother can go be with her man. Child, listen, I'm so happy Ashley is sharing her truth. This happens every day, but do we get to talk about it and see how a 16-year-old grows into a woman and begins to deal with the childhood trauma inflicted by the parents? Not often we don't. So I like the fact that she's having this conversation and she's found the courage to have it on national television. That's the reason I tune in for reality television. And here's the sad part. Like most communities and any mother, I can't even say Black mothers at this point. Most mothers expect you to protect them. And Ashley's mother is not comfortable with Ashley telling her truth because it makes her look bad as a mother. Woo, child, imagine that. But I'm glad Ashley has decided to press forward anyway. Ashley appears to be honoring her well-being over her mother's need to pretend that she was a great mother, because you weren't, ma'am, according to your daughter. Now, on another note, I am loving the relationship between Ashley and her best friend. Here's why I say that. Oftentimes when we watch reality television, we don't get a lot of insight into who these people are outside of the people that they have to film with. So I love the fact that Ashley is bringing her other people on camera with her and be like, this is my best friend. And I wish they could do more of that for Melody. And it really, really balances out the dynamics and the power on the show, because I don't know, I just like that aspect that they've inserted in there. So they transitioned, Ashley and her friend, they transitioned into a conversation about joy. Now, they kept it cute this episode, but you can tell they held back for now. So I'm sure there's going to be more to come regarding that dynamic. Fast forward, Ashley's hosting this event that she throws annually. It's called Think Pink. It's just a social event for women to connect, let their hair down, and just have a little bit of fun. Joy shares a little bit of background when she learns that Sharella is coming to the party. And Joy shares that she really don't cut with her. She don't cut for her based on her engagement with Sharella's husband. They were in a band together. She didn't go into details what happened, but allegedly the band dismantled, broke up from Joy's perspective because of Sharella's husband. Hey, thank you for the background. Okay. Thank you for the background, Joy. However, what does Sharella have to do with that? That was like business between you and him. His wife has, unless she played a part in that. So I need you to give us a little bit more of your animosity towards his wife. Okay. Now, Sharella, at this point, this is where I changed my perspective and my viewpoint regarding Sharella, because I really liked how you showed up for Winter as neutral. But in this scene, Sharella, at this event, I feel like you were playing both sides, and baby, you was doing a little bit too much because it came off as disingenuous. Okay. You were trying to sit with a certain crowd. And I really don't think they like you. If we keep it 100. Ashley, they not feeling you, Sharella. Arena them, they not feeling you. You not in their class. It's called placism. You're out of your league. And no matter what you do, what you say, what kind of tea you going to bring to the table, they don't really fuck with you like that. All right? I'm just saying. So you go on to tell them about Winter's song, Sharella does. And then she says, well, my husband ain't making no diss track. Girl, how are you going to tell your husband as a music producer what he can and cannot produce? We've heard worse from artists regarding rap and diss tracks. So Ashley's picking up what I'm picking up. And part of that, maybe I'm just going to say maybe because she's a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio. I have my moments with Ashley. I ain't going to lie. But Ashley's picking up that, baby, you playing both sides. So Ashley in her confessional says, you know what? Sharella's just trying to cover her ass. And that's a lot of ass to cover. Ashley did not come to play. Oh, that was hilarious. I agree with Arena. Arena also stated that Sharella is playing both sides. So Sherella, at this point, if you're tuned in, if you somehow have found your way to the palace, baby, you're going to have to pick a side. Either stay in, get out, but don't play both sides. And if you do stay in, pick a side. All right. Now, I did not like a lot of the vibes that Sherella was giving. I kind of feel like you kind of bossy and you kind of throw around you're throwing around your weight. I don't know. I just kind of picked up some vibes that you may dominate your female group of friends. We get this scene of Winter and Arena meeting to speak about the issue that Arena takes up with Winter. And basically, Arena has said what I stated earlier. You were speaking on my husband cheating with actually speaking, not only speaking on my husband cheating, but you kind of on Carlos's King show, you hinted that both me and my husband frolic and have outside relationships. And Winter, she's right. Carlos is messy. He don't give a damn about ruining your relationship. So that's what I mean, Winter. Don't fall into the trap of being the girl, the single girl on the show. Don't let Carlos depict you or paint you or typecast you into this messy role. It's okay to say, you know what? I really don't know what they have going on. So that's Arena's problem. She wants loyalty from Winter. You know, either we're in or we're out. And I think that's a fair ask. So they talk about the continuation of the breakdown, why they are not cool, which leads to the reunion. Last season's reunion, when Winter said she received DMs regarding Jason, who's Arena's blind child. Okay. So Winter did not want to read them out loud and was like, hey, listen, you look at it. Arena's like, no, I'll read them. So Winter reads out loud what was sent to her from a source. And the receipts basically alleged that the Tylers did not raise their disabled son and actually had him in a school where he aged out of the school. Okay. It goes on to say that they're using Arena's mother and they only moved her in to babysit Jason so that she and Jamie can chase fame. Now, Arena, here's my thing. That sounds personal, that someone is giving personal information. And I know you said that your circle is small, but that sounds like somebody that has taken up a grudge with you based on how they feel like you've treated Jason. Winter doesn't know that. Winter, I'm going to tell you, Arena, on the outside looking in, Winter doesn't even have a position on that. She can't. She's not in your life, right? So somebody from your inner camp could very well be leaking information about you. I have my thoughts on who it could be, but I'm going to keep my mouth closed. So you may want to check your circle, Arena, and just be very careful and keep both eyes wide open. Joy, I don't know what's going on between Joy and Clifton. And Joy, I'm not going to feel a certain way about you wanting a wedding or not. All I'm going to say is, and I'm jumping around, y'all, but all I'm going to say is that's different. That's a bit different. Most women do. It's neither here nor there, but it would be really good if we got a little bit more background and insight into why you don't want one, right? Like I said, it's neither here nor there, but when you think about reality television, just tell us why. When you think about what the viewers want, why we tune in, we want to understand you a little bit more. So I think that would be a great way and a good opportunity for you to potentially connect with your audience. So Joy starts off. Actually, Arena goes to Joy's home, and Arena brings up Ashley and Alicia. Arena, you was being messy. You low key being messy. But anywho, so Arena, I want to ask you: are you jealous of Ashley and Alicia's connection? Because you kind of stirring the pot a little bit. Okay, in that situation, but Joy seemed to not want to go there just yet, and she goes, "You know what? I don't want to jump on anything at this point. It's too premature. It was just a conversation of them asking me questions. I would have liked a little bit more support, But Arena is pushing for Joy to be confrontational with Ashley and Alicia and Joyce while in Joy's home. Like, you should ask them why. You should ask her. But in your confessional, Arena, you're saying that, listen, those girls didn't mean anything. They didn't mean any harm when they ask Joy the questions about her speaking engagement. So my question to you, Arena, is then what are you pushing her and why are you pushing her to confront them? That's my question to you. I think this is going to be a dynamic season of Love and Marriage DC to watch these ladies battle it out to become queen of the throne, honey. We're going to be tuned in all the way. And production, if you are listening, we want you to go a little bit deeper. This is where I need some dynamics. I need you to go a little bit deeper between the Tylers. I know they're utilizing Jamie Jr. and Jason as storylines. Cut to the chase. We want to know more about them. And I also want you to dig a little bit deeper between the dynamics of Clifton and Joy. That's your job. Bring us some good television, honey.